Hey everyone, you got to listen to this one. Would you use AI as a realtor to buy a house without even seeing it, without even feeling it, and smelling it? And also, would you pay $180,000 for a parking spot in a condo? I don't think I would. What kind of car are you driving if you're buying a parking spot like that? Anyway, listen in and subscribe and share. Welcome, everyone, to What's Happening in Real Estate this week with Conrad Zerini and Brian Hogbin, mortgage broker and broker. Hey, guys. So there was an article in the paper about real estate and AI. Now, Conrad, I know because you own a tech company. You know all about this. And this what got Zillow in trouble, because they were depending on information too much that they just kind of let it go, and they lost $500 million. So, okay. So I think AI is something that we all use. I use it for writing my remarks, writing, newsletters and stuff like that, like doing all that. And I know kids are using it now for even replying to emails, but
their exams too, Rob.
Yeah, probably. I think so. So, which you know what? All in good and writing essays and everything else like that. But AI is good for information, but you still need humans. You still need humans to buy houses, because that's where the gut feeling is. Like, we're all in the trenches, right? We have a gut feeling of what's happened, what's going on, and everything else. AI has just got information, and I mean, they can give you stats, they can give you everything, but is this the right price? Is this the right house for you? Is this the right thing? And they don't have, and AI doesn't have that. So human connection is still important. And you got to be careful how you use it, though, if you use an AI.
There's no question. I think we still have to interpret the data, right? There's absolutely, I think it's going to do 80%, let's say, when it gets really, really good. But it's that last 20%, that last mile that they talk about, that last mile that you really need. Every company struggles with the last mile, no matter how much technology they have. And I think consumers are the same thing. That's that last mile that when they make that final decision, it's a lot of money they're talking about here. And I think just this, interaction and collaboration will goes a long, long way when you're making these types of decisions. And no, look at this market now. I don't know if AI could keep up with up and down that we've seen in the last 18 months or 24 months for that matter. I don't know if they can keep up with it. They would have numbers, right? They would have sales numbers that were like, so think about this. AI is going to have numbers that were sales. They'll close sales that happened 90 days ago. So how are they going to articulate it going forward if there's a shift in the market? They're not going to be able to interpret what lies in front. They can tell you behind, but they can't tell you a moment in time and what the next 30 or 60 days is going to hold.
Absolutely right. They can't touch, they can't feel, and they can't smell, and they can't see. I'm telling you, those are the things. You walk into a house, and you can't just go on a computer and say, okay, this is a house we're going to buy. You don't know. You can't smell it. You can't feel, you don't know. Like, you can't really see it except for pictures. So I get the AI thing is going to be something of the norm, and we're experiencing it. If you think about it, our generation, like Conrad, like Brian's maybe 1 or 2 years younger than us, so I don't know. But but we experienced huge changes. The cell phone, coming in, the internet. What other major things that we experienced, like this now AI? There's a whole whack of other things that probably that
from just the listings, right? The listings, whatever, now to everybody having them. Like we held it all close to our chest, and everybody having the listings, and then everybody having the sales data and all that kind of stuff. Like, consumers probably have more data than we do at our fingertips.
Oh, absolutely. They're the ones with the money. They're the ones that are spending it. The buyer out there knows the market better than probably a lot of realtors. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, I like, now, do you use AI on a regular basis now?
Who, me? Yeah. I still like to write my own blogs. But I do see some of the stuff we've been looking at it when it comes to for, let's say, like you said, listing remarks. Right now, there's programs you can scan all the photos, and they can actually identify, the type of granite and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty fascinating, right? It's a pretty deep dive, which I think is amazing. I use it for, all my images I use for my blogs. I use an AI software to do the images, because it would take 2 days for our staff to create it, and I want to just have something simple, right? You know what I mean? It's a one-off anyway. So I do that. I do that a lot, and we're building it into our technology now. Like Real Intro, we're going to be building a place where AI that will help consumers pick a better, like an agent that suits their needs that much better, right? Like making that match much more solidified. And Brian and I have talked about doing that in the mortgage industry, I think, and finding a better match with mortgage specialists with consumers. So yeah, I think there's a lot to it. I think it can really help us all grow our businesses.
Do you use do you use ChatGPT with the AI, the paid program, the paid part? Like I think it's like 20, yeah, and then you could put the photograph and things. A lot of people don't know about that. Like I haven't signed up, but I know of like the advancements that if you do pay for the ChatGPT, you could put photographs and everything in there. Now, Brian, you use AI at all? Do you at all?
In for the evergreen sort of advice, a lot of the questions that can be answered like on the website and things like that, and to sort of drive our traffic, similar to what Conrad's saying, to the right agent and making that matching work. So we're building it in right now. We're really high touch right now. So we're still got a lot of that, but I know a lot of mortgage brokerages, we've seen them just dive right into it. So I'm a little bit more, I like to see it and see everybody else make their mistakes first on the other side, and then sort of implement it. Cause I know a lot of our peers and competition use it, but, and we will build it into it because I think it's got enormous benefits and time savers, especially for the evergreen stuff. Like, what's an amortization? What's a term? Some of these questions that the answer doesn't change no matter where you Google it or who says it, right? There's a lot of that stuff in the mortgage industry that'd be a time saver. So then we can get really into the strategic advice and the critical thinking aspect of it.
I was just saying, but AI can, bring you down the wrong path. It's like GPS. They bring it down to a dead end street. Like for instance, and I saw this in action. If you started to put in the numbers, the inflation numbers, and what was going on, recently, like back a year ago, 18 months ago, and you plug those numbers in, AI would have told you we're going to see a lot of what we saw in 1980, which was, double digit, like we double digit rates, 19-20%. So can you imagine if you would have advised your client, based on that AI? Look, I heard a great comment. There was a guy, the CEO of Chime. He had the best comment. I saw he did it in person at a conference I was at. He says take 99% wine, the best wine in the world, 99% wine, and you add 1% shit inside of it. I know this is crude, but you know what? When you drink it, it's shit. So you know what I'm saying? So that last mile, or whatever you want to call it, whatever expression you want, that 1%, it will be able to do something, considerable, right? But again, at the end of the day, it's going to take, our knowledge, intelligence, the gut, intuition to get you through the last mile, right?
I could see, and this has been happening for a bit. How there's lead generations online. People they think they're talking to a person, but it's actually a chatbot. Now how long's that been going on now? At least a few years, isn't it? Like it's like 5 years. Is it 5 years too long? Do you think it's about that? It's less than 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I could say even more. 8 years. We used it originally when we had the chat. But the other thing is air. Like, come on, every flight. I think it's since 1991. I just wrote a blog about it, maybe 2 blogs ago. So I may not have not. But I think 1991 they used AI. The airlines, the planes used AI. So we've been using it really for a long time now. Would you ever consider taking that pilot out?
Never.
That's my question.
I would never depend, because what if there's a circuit that didn't connect quite right? That's why they have 2 pilots, in case one dies while they're flying. There's a second one there. Now, if you have AI, there's no 2 boards. I don't know. Like, is there a backup switch for that? There's never.
like I said, since the 90s. So you
Yeah.
got to think, and all airlines, they're talking about a pilot shortage, right? They have to I think by 2030, they have to have hire 30,000 pilots. So it's crazy. So no one's talking about AI taking over that, and it's been around for a long time, right? So
You know, the only thing I could see is a Tesla coming up with self-driving cars that pick you up and drop you off. Now, I mean, they can't probably do it in the wintertime, but I'm sure if the streets are all cleaned, they got the lines on the roads, that vehicle can probably do all that. I mean, it's just we're just coming to that generation of all that happening. But I mean, it's intriguing, especially when ChatGPT just came out. Like that was like mind blowing. That was the talk everywhere. And you know what? They were the first to come out to the market, I think. Now, so obviously the first is always the winner, right? Like they just basically get market share. And I know Microsoft is trying to come out with something, and a few other companies, and some of them are probably even better than ChatGPT, I would assume.
postponing it for some reason. I heard they're postponing their launch. So that's an interesting factor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to a lawyer this morning, and he said the one thing that ChatGPT can't do right now is give high quality legal advice, because the only thing that's available is in public record, but a lot of the legal case laws they're not allowing access to. And there's a lot of lawyers right now that are extremely concerned if they allow access to that. Imagine asking GPT for legal advice then as well too, and it giving high quality answers. Right now, it's just giving Wikipedia answers, so don't do that right now.
Right. No kidding. Well, on to another. We got about 3-4 minutes left. So, did you hear about the parking spot selling for $179,000? Now, Conrad. Okay, you know this better than anybody else out there. When they build condo buildings and apartment buildings, are they building a parking spot for per unit, or it's always less than that, the amount of units?
Lately, there's been a trend of less. So we're seeing the last 5 years. Well, before they used to be 1.5 for many years and 1.25 parking spaces per unit. But now you could be talking, a quarter or half, or some areas where they're on transit lines, it's 0. So you can imagine there. So there's that, you know what? I'll tell you, if you could snap up parking spots, but you have to be an owner of a unit to have a parking spot, right? So you can't just go around, and we can't start a fund buying excess parking and then resell it and rent it. So that's our problem. We have to have a condo, right, to do it. But yeah, it's that's something, that's a trend you're going to see keep going. So yeah, if you get a condo and it's got 2 units, man, hang on tight, right?
No kidding. Well, not only this parking spot that sold for $179,000, taxes on it are $300 a year, and $94 a month in maintenance fees. Like what the heck?
What are you driving? Yeah. What are you driving? That's what I want to know. Like, what kind of car you putting in there? I hope it's a nice one.
Well, developers saw this a while ago. So about 5 years ago, the trend for new buildings was they separate. Before it was all together, the condo fees. Now they're separating it all out. Actually, they're separating out the locker now, and they're separating out the parking spot, and then your condo fees are based on your square footage. So it's an interesting trend that even the developers got involved in on an early basis.
So they're making sales after sale. Hey, would you like this locker or that locker? Well, it's going to cost you this much. Do you want the parking spot the farthest away, which is $100,000, but the closer one is $180,000? I don't know. Like I just, but like you said, Conrad, like they're building these buildings, even in downtown Hamilton. Are they building? Like, if they're building a 300-unit building, is there more than 300 parking spots?
Hamilton had it for a long time, at least 10 years, as long as I can remember, that they had for 50 square meters, which is about 500 square feet, you only needed 1/3 of a parking space. So Hamilton's had that downtown for a good 10, 15 years. So they were ahead of that trend early on. So there's a lot of places that don't have parking. There's absolutely without a question.
Do you think it hurts the sales or hurts
100%? We see it. We see some buildings right now. We can actually see stuff lingering, and you peel the onion, you find out there's no parking space downtown. Some of those that they were built like warehouses and like lofts and stuff like that. Those, they were retrofit kind of condos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can tell the ones without parking just linger and linger and linger.
They just, yeah. Yeah. But why don't they just add another parking floor underneath? Like usually there's two people living. Like if there's two people living in a condo, like, partners get together, they need two parking spots. Like everybody has a car, especially if you're in Hamilton. Like, you know what I mean? If you're building, like it's just that's
share program now, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, you have like a car share where there's one car there, the building shares it for a certain cost a month, right?
You know what?
Well, the other thing.
Goes.
The other battle is going to be now, there's a building in Burlington right now, and I know that there's a lottery system to get an outlet. Like you have to get your own charger, but there's only so many parking spots that they will allow you to have like a charger. So it's by lottery. So you know what I mean? Like you better, like, don't buy the car before you find out you got the outlet in the condo, right? That's going to be the next bastion of problems.
There's
because
going to be
people
battles.
are going to say, oh my God, and people are going to want retrofitting and stuff like that. Like I heard a paid one is something like 15 to 20,000 to just like the piece of equipment to collect money. And then depends how far away it is from the electrical panel. Like that's the other part of the problem too. How do you bring the power there? And is there enough power? And do they have to put another transformer? Go by those Tesla parking lots. It's my God, the transformers are the size of like Volkswagen.
Oh, I know. Oh, no kidding. You're going to see extension cords being thrown over the balcony so people can charge their Teslas.
Can you imagine you got an electrical outlet and you're in a parking lot close to an elevator? That thing's going to be this $200,000.
$200,000, yeah.
That'll be nothing. It'll be $300,000-$400,000. It'll be priceless.
Oh, God. Anyway, guys, listen, thanks a lot for being on, and we'll see you next week.